The misinformation bill has been scrapped, and I think we all need to celebrate that. A half-baked attempt at trying to control social media, but it's not over yet. Well, it is actually, because the social media ban for under 16-year-olds is done. And in a year's time, we will find out exactly how it's going to work, because the government doesn't even know how they're going to achieve it. So let's talk about it. Let me give you my thoughts about this, and I'm gonna have to preempt a ridiculous ban. Make sure to like and subscribe. Let's get started on the Dirt Report. The big thing here is both the coalition and the current Labour government managed to push this through in unison. The ban for under 16s on social media was supported by both sides, and I think that needs to ring some alarm bells, some red flags, because when's the last time the two parties agreed on something? Now, within context, social media is not great for teenagers, especially ones that are young. A 14-year-old now can go to prison, but after next year, they won't be allowed to be on social media. Now, like I said, there's no question that it's bad for you. And I've got a bit of, background here. BMC Psychology says depression and anxiety comes from excessive social media use. And we've all seen the outcomes of that with kids who are bullied on social media. There's sleep disturbances, potentially insomnia, and there's part of just using a smartphone before going to bed. And a lot of adults have this problem, but children are really susceptible to it. The social aspect of it is that you can be targeted and communicated publicly and both on your profile and personally by bullies or people who want to do you harm with words or just want to annoy that out of you. And that, of course, is really bad for kids because they haven't built up that armor that comes with age of people saying things to you. The older you get, the less you care about what people think. And I think as kids grow up, and I've got two little ones, it's just the way people communicate. It can damage younger people. And we can, again, see that everywhere online. The Oxford Academic says that there's a negative social comparison with teens that often compare themselves to other people on social media. But that's not just teens, right? That's every adult who opens up Instagram and looks at not only the latest pictures from some people who are enjoying a holiday, and that's the greatest hits of their life, but that's non-stop on social media, because the only time you want to post on social media, let's say Instagram or Facebook, is when there's something great happening in your life. Oh, you got married, or you bought a new car, or you bought a new iPhone, and whatever it is, right? All those posts on social media are gonna make you feel inferior because you turn around and you went, well, I've been going to work daily for the last month and I haven't gone on holiday, but everybody on my timeline on Facebook is going on a holiday. But like I said, that affects everyone. There are also academic implications. Obviously, high engagement in social media can distract young people from their education and academic responsibilities, which leads to lower academic performance. Now, my experience with that was, well, I played a lot more video games than, studying, so my grades suffered because of that. So it's not necessarily just social media, but social media's algorithms are designed to make you scroll non-stop. It's called doom scrolling, and it locks you in, right? It just means that you stay stagnant and you don't learn anything. At least in video games, there's a little bit of an aspect of you do something, not just get presented with content. And I know I make YouTube videos, but I hope it's more of a conversation than just watching people do stupid stuff, which is also quite fun. But I get stuck into two and I'm scrolling my phone, trying to do something else, and Facebook pops up and I click on it, I don't know why, and I start doom scrolling, and I have to physically force myself to stop. It's difficult sometimes. So I can understand how this affects kids. A lot of people have gone around saying that this is just one step from mass surveillance or more mass surveillance. But I think a lot of people have to understand that we're already mass surveilled. Now, I know that's a cop-out, but this isn't going to change much. But what it will change is how it's going to get implemented. Because if you're a 50-year-old or a 40-year-old or 30-year-old or a 70-year-old on Facebook, are you going to have to verify that you're older than 16? How is that going to happen? Well, the government doesn't know, but there's talks about tokenization, where they have an app that sends a token that is only a number or a hash number or encrypted to the social media to say, yes, this person is over age of 16, but nothing else about that person. So potentially that, but again, we don't know. We won't know until next year. But is this that step from mass surveillance, because now if I want to go onto Facebook, I'm going to have to tell the government I'm on Facebook. But the question is, does the government not already know that I'm on Facebook? Am I asking permission to the government to go on Facebook, to go on Twitter, to go on YouTube, to go on anything else? Actually, the part about anything else, that's questionable, because there's only a small list of the big players that are affected in this ban. I think it's just another nanny state type of situation with Australia. And the fact that both parties agreed to it is absolutely ridiculous. How is this going to affect everyday people? Well, the age limit at the moment is 13. So you got to put in an age, and people will lie, or young teens will lie that they're over 13. So if you just bump it up to 16, it's not going to change anything. If we look at a way to do this with things like digital ID, which I know people are scared about, but technically passports and driver's license are all technically digital because they're stored digitally somewhere else. You've just got a physical device. But when you scan it, it pops up with your information at the airport. So it's not like it's not digital. So I don't know why people are calling this like this some crazy digital ID. It's not an issue. Your digital ID is literally your phone. It's the biggest mass surveillance device ever. Now, should the social media companies be watching everything about your kids that are under 16 years old? That's another way to think about. Should they know everything about your teenager? And that's what I'm sort of concerned about, is I don't want Facebook and Twitter to have access to my child until they're older. But that is a parent's responsibility. And now the government has stepped in and said, well, parents, we're trying to help you by banning it at 16 in whatever way we're going to do it. Is that an issue? I'm going to ask you guys, is that an issue for you that the government is technically stepping in for what I think is a parent's job? Here's my point to all this ranting. When the government pushes this onto a select few social media platforms, those social media platforms are going to be forced to try and work out a way to figure out if you're old enough. Okay, if the onus is on the social media platforms, nothing has changed. It's not mass surveillance, it's just the government pushing a new legislation. So we don't know until next year. But the problem here is this ban isn't across everything. It's only that particular few social media platforms, right? But there are other social media platforms or chat platforms that teens use that is unregulated. To the point that when I was younger and LiveLeak was around, you could just log in and see anything and everything. But X or Twitter right now has the same situation. There is no control. There is no cleanliness to that platform. You can log in, be 13 years of age, and see beheadings. That's the X platform. Yes, there's a pop-up to say, well, this is for sensitive viewers, blah, blah, blah. But the platform does nothing to protect anyone over the age of 13, apart from saying you need to be at least 13. There are some things on that platform that I personally will look away because just, oh, that's terrible. Well, the social media companies want people to look and they want them engaged. The algorithm is designed to keep them engaged. And there are other platforms that don't have any control, and it's complete Wild West. And if teens are banned from those platforms like Facebook and YouTube and Instagram that do a little bit of keeping really crap stuff off the platform, I know there's still crap on there, but at least they try. Those teens are going to be pushed to social media platforms that have zero, and I mean zero, accountability. And that's going to create a much bigger problem. It's like banning one thing and everybody else turns to the worst thing, the next worst thing, because that hasn't been banned yet. And I expect to see a lot of teens sign up to apps that are completely under controlled. The companies are in the Cayman Islands with no way to communicate with them, that allow the posting and sending and calling and messaging of anything and everything, and we're going to end up with a bigger problem. What's the answer? I don't know the answer. Absolutely not. But it needs to come from the parents. And when you have a router, like I talk about on this channel, there are ways to control the Wi-Fi in your household to stop kids from going onto social media or limit the amount of time they spend on it. And I think it's the parents' job to do that, not the government's. However, the government should force those social media companies to in control of the crap that gets posted on it. But it's not through the misinformation bill, and it's certainly not through the social media ban. Remember the piracy ban that stopped people from accessing pirating sites in Australia? Well, you could just use a VPN, or you could just change the DNS number from your ISP's or RSP's number to Google's 8888-88844, and all of a sudden you bypass the Great Wall of Australia. Let me know your thoughts below. Mass surveillance, digital ID, keywords that a lot of people use, but I think it's a bit of a joke these days. Friends, thank you very much for watching. I'll catch you all in another one. Bye.